Hey everybody, Derek here to bring you another video for Z Nation. And this video is going to be doing my impressions on the Season 2 trailer that was released during Sharknado 3. I did not get the chance to see it when it first came out because I haven't seen the first two Sharknados. So I was waiting for them to post it on the internet, and they finally did. And if you look down below, I do have a link where you can go and watch the trailer if you have not seen it, and then come back to this video and check out my thoughts on it. Just in case you guys are not caught up with Z Nation Season 1, this video will contain spoilers. So if you are not caught up, do not watch the video because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay. So, I watched the trailer, and there were some things that definitely caught my attention. There were some things that I'm very interested to see what the tone is going to be like. Because when you hear it, the music is a little more upbeat. It kind of makes it more like the usual comedy slash drama slash, zombie apocalypse show that Z Nation is. And I don't think that Z Nation is necessarily going to change. I think that there will still be those light moments in the show that we're used to. I don't think that that's something that should change about the show. But some scenes, I have to wonder if there's a little bit more of a serious tone to them than others. And it really did reveal quite a bit of information. Some of the basic things I want to mention. One, Doc seems to be fine. Doc seems to be up and running about and being a little active in some of the parts of the trailer. So it would appear that he's going to make a pretty much full recovery, which is very, very nice. We also see that Citizen Z is alive. Whether he goes further down into his, base, or whether at Northern Lights, or whether he goes somewhere else, or whether the nukes don't blow up there, he's alive. And the way that the trailer actually starts out is Citizen Z sending out a message to people over the broadcast, radio, saying, you need to save the world. If you guys can hear me, find Murphy. So really, one of the big themes that we've heard about is that pretty much everybody's going to be trying to find Murphy. This is no longer a secret mission in a sense, which really, for the most part, Season 1 was secretive in many ways. He was, I guess he kind of, put out the information, but I don't know if he actually really described what was going on. Because you did hear him make some references about the cure, but I don't know if Citizen Z actually talked about who Murphy was, what was going on specifically, because the big thing right now is if everybody's going to be after Murphy, they may have selfish reasons for doing so. And it really does appear that there are going to be people after Murphy that are not from our usual group. And I'll get to that later on in the trailer. But that's the first thing that you see is Citizen Z sending out a message, with information, people need to get Murphy, and save the world. Create a vaccine and, save the world. That's pretty much the whole message that Citizen Z sends out. Then you see, that the group seems to be traveling in this big semi-truck, and it's making its way through like the desert, and you can kind of see that it is a little bit desolate. It really is not very, active out there. Whether that's because of the nukes or not, I guess we'll find out. But I know that they will be in some pretty tough shape before they actually regroup. But we see that Murphy and Cassandra are taking advantage of the situation. You see Murphy for the first time, a picture of him. And the way that he looks is blue skin, pretty much, throughout his body. We don't get to see him with his clothes on. So we don't know exactly whether his scarring is still there, what exactly his body underneath is going to look like. But his skin has become basically a bluish, blackish shade. That's the best way I can describe it. It really looks like some of those more, those older zombie movies when the zombies had a little bit more of like that darker face. That's what it reminds me of. But he does have that appearance now. But he seems to be, just doing what Murphy does, whatever he feels like. I mean, you do see that he's wearing his golden, like suit jacket, it looks like. And Cassandra is wearing, I guess the best way that I can put it is she really is dressing like in a very provocative manner. Somebody who would be maybe performing in a strip club, not judging, just saying that seems to be the kind of clothing that she is wearing. And I did hear from an interview with Russell Hodgkinson, who plays Doc, and from other people that there were going to be zombie strippers. And part of me thinks that, now that Murphy's just on his own, I think it's clear that him and Cassandra are going to meet up. And they seem to be inside of a bar slash, strip club. And Murphy goes, "It's the apocalypse. Let's have some fun." And Cassandra just makes this like smile, like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for this." And I think that really what's going to be going on is just Murphy's just going to do what he normally does. He's in a sense lazy. He doesn't like to, overexert himself. He wants to have fun. And he's really been deprived of doing anything except for traveling these last several months to a year. So he's probably going to want to take advantage of the situation, have a couple drinks, watch Cassandra do her routine if she's the one that's doing that. And I think that his interests are going to be against what Warren and the rest of the group want, because it's very clear that he's just not interested in helping them. And the reason why I think that, and again, the reason why I think they're at a strip club is because you see this one scene where there's lights and just like, I think you see stripper poles in the back, and then Addie like jumps and smacks a zombie. It's really cool actually, like the zombie's head like flattens. So you see them killing zombies in there. I just think that Murphy was just, having fun. I think that he can control zombies. I could just see him now, like sitting back, sipping on alcohol, being like, "Okay, hey, can you go get me this?" Acting like a boss, which he really can at this point. But the mission is still on. You see that Warren, basically says to Doc and, Mac and Addie are there too as well, and I'll get to that in just a second. She says that, the mission is still to get Murphy to California, make a vaccine, and save the world. So that is still Warren's purpose, and that does make sense. I think that Warren, part of the reason why she is alive, part of the reason why, they have the drive to live is this goal. And you see many characters that are very goal-oriented, mission-oriented. This is what keeps them alive and going. So that is the plan. And I think that it's very likely that Addie and Mac are going to reunite maybe, and then Warren, Doc, and 10,000 will then hook up with them, because you see a scene where Addie is hooking up. If you watch my promotional photos video, you will see this photo, but you don't see everything else going on in it. But Addie's hooking up this like radio to like some car battery or something like that. She's making like a radio device to maybe listen about maybe the nukes, maybe on Warren's group, things like that. She might still care, and I think she does. But it's very clear that they do meet up, and I think it's going to happen relatively soon, maybe within the first 2 or 3 episodes. And if you look in the one scene, you'll see Addie doing this, and then somebody who I believe is Mac is like in the back. His face is a little obscured, but he's wearing a hat, which is kind of like the one promotional photo that I showed, again in my Z Nation promotional photos videos. And he's wearing like a jacket or a sweatshirt or something like that. And he's just messing around with the vehicle. So I think those two are going to reunite first. Then I think that 10,000, Doc, and Warren are going to find them, because there's a scene where 10,000 shoots a walker that's attacking Mac, and shoots it like right through the eye, and then you see Doc like waving in the background after 10,000 shoots it. And I think that might be the scene where they all, like those 5 do get back together. There is a chance that maybe Addie might have left the compound. I mean, I haven't seen any scenes of it. So whether it was destroyed and Addie was away, whether we're going to see how Mac and Addie got together or not, I don't know. There really wasn't any of that. So that's really a mystery. But it really does seem like Mac and Addie actually get together first, and then they run into Doc, 10,000, and Warren. And then eventually those 5 will run into Vasquez, the person played by Matt Cedeno, who's a bounty hunter, basically also looking for Murphy. And one of the things that you see is that there's a scene right after that one that I said earlier about Murphy and Cassandra being in the strip club / bar, where Murphy and Cassandra are like walking away and they're like carrying an umbrella looking like some, fancy couple. And you see Vasquez, Warren, Doc, and the others chasing after them, walking after them. And I think that what's going to happen here is Murphy's not going to have an interest in, going to California anymore and, creating the vaccine. I think that at this point he really does feel betrayed because of what happened. I think that he's very scared of, what people are going to want from him, after the experience with Kurian and all that. And I really think that, his idea of the world nowadays is just going to be, hey, I just don't care. I don't care about the cure. He may think he's terminal, or he just might think, well, I just don't care. I'm going to do what I want. And I don't care what your mission is anymore. And I think that really, it's going to be, about the group trying to convince him. The other thing is that he might go with them out of necessity, because later on in the trailer, you see the group are on they're on that semi truck that I was talking about that was very fortified, and they're actually with several other people. Now, whether those people were with Murphy, is hard to say, or whether they were with Vasquez. Like if Vasquez is working with a team, I think that's a very possible scenario. Sometimes bounty hunters, they are a team. Or these people might be working for Escorpion, the character that's being played by Emilio Rivera. Because at the very end of the trailer, you see what I believe to be Emilio Rivera shooting a rocket launcher at, it was Mac, Addie, Doc, and Warren, and they're like running away from the car, like it's that car that explodes. Again, another promotional photo that I showed in one of my prior videos, and you see them like stumbling and running away. And I really have to wonder if those people are going to play a factor into, early on in season 2, where they have their own ideas for why they want Murphy. Because it really does appear that Vasquez wants Murphy. And I think that a Scorpion, he may be associated with Vasquez, or he just may be somebody independent, but he wants Murphy for himself. Excuse me. We have heard that the group is going to go to Mexico, that there are going to be scenes in Mexico, and I think that it's very possible that, different nations, different sets of people are going to want Murphy for different reasons, maybe. Like once the message goes out, they may realize that, well, we have our own, ideas for what we want to do, and that's no different than than the rest of the world, in today's world. Nations want to be able to sustain, the economy. They want to be able to make people happy. They want to be able to pass the laws they want to. Everybody has their own agenda, and I don't think it's going to change, in the zombie apocalypse. Whether a Scorpion works for the government or not in Mexico, I don't know. But I think that no matter what, a Scorpion is going to want Murphy for his own purposes. And one of the things that you see in the trailer is that the semi-truck is like going down the road at a fast pace. And you see Vasquez, 10,000's kind of in the corner, but he's shooting. And Warren, all of them are shooting at these vehicles that are like chasing after the semi-truck. And you see like this one scene where Cassandra is like she's jumped onto the back of one of the cars and is like biting this guy. So I think that this is, very clearly somebody coming after Murphy. And it really makes me wonder if there's going to be a prior encounter to this first. Because in some of the promotional photos I saw, you saw different people in like this building, and Warren was holding a gun, and you saw another guy who was a sniper. It really makes you wonder if a Scorpion or somebody else out there has sent people after Murphy and they failed because Warren's group protected Murphy, and have basically forced Murphy to stay with the group. Because you see at the very end, there's like you see Z Nation coming in September 11th, and then you see, Murphy sitting on the truck with Doc, and basically goes, "Stewardess, is there going to be snack service on this flight?" Being being who Murphy is. And there are other people that are with them. So it's either that those people are after Murphy or they're assisting either Vasquez or Warren. Like maybe they've run into a couple of people who have agreed to help. So it's one or the other. I couldn't really tell because there was not a lot going on. But I think it's very clear that Murphy is probably going to end up having to go with Warren's group. Whether that group is going to stay together for long or whether it's going to be a constant chase where Murphy is trying to get away, trying to do what he wants, I don't know. But I think that what's going to end up happening is Murphy isn't really going to care about the mission, but that with all the people that are after him, all the things that are going on, I think he's going to have no choice but to go with Warren's group because other people seem to be after him. And it may just be that they join out of necessity rather than that being what they want. And I think that this may be a battle that continues for most of the season. But those are a lot of the things that I saw in the trailer. Again, it was only like 30 seconds, so it's not like the expansive, view that you get in the Walking Dead Comic-Con trailer. But nonetheless, every little thing you see is helpful, definitely gives information, and it makes me that much more excited for Z Nation. I think what I saw was good. I think that it's going to be very interesting. And I think once we finally delve in and see what everybody's thinking, because there really wasn't a lot of dialogue that was outside of this idea of going on the mission and Murphy just, being himself, that really intrigued anybody's attention. So I'm very interested to see what they will do. But that is what the trailer showed, and again, I'm very excited for Z Nation Season 2. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. If there are any suggestions that you guys would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you everyone for watching.